Life Unknown. This is our first video of 2021.
Yeah, so feliz año nuevo a todos. If this is your first time to our channel, we provide a mix of informational videos, travel vlogs, and some fun creative content from here in Ecuador. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, click the bell so you can get all of our latest videos. All right, Clarita, 2021, how are we feeling going into this year?
Good. I'm feeling really good. I'm very optimistic, hopeful, and excited for all the new adventures that lie ahead.
Yeah, me too. I think we've got summertime here, right? Good weather coming up. Hope we can travel more. We've got some good momentum with our channel, so that's really exciting. A new baby on the way this...
No, I am not pregnant. You wish.
Vamos a ver. Okay, so in this video, this is kind of the first in a series that we dubbed Real Talk.
Real Talk.
Man, I should be one of those voiceover guys with that awesome audio there. So this series is meant to provide real information on living abroad, directly from us in a genuine, somewhat unscripted way. So we'll hit on different topics each week that will address critical information that you'll need to plan and understand the living situation here in Ecuador.
Good. Yeah, and we will still be providing you other content like travel vlogs and creative spins on living abroad. And the goal is to really ramp up our content and get you as much information as possible on life in Ecuador.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get into our first segment.
Yeah. So a lot of you may be wondering, what is the current situation in Ecuador?
Yeah, so like what is the entry process, what are current restrictions, regulations that are in place, and maybe what is our day-to-day like? How has that changed since COVID, since the pandemic?
All right, so let's break it down and get into it. All right, so let's get into the entry requirements. So all travelers, including minors, need to provide a negative COVID PCR test that is taken no more than 10 days prior to arrival in Ecuador. And once you arrive and you present no symptoms of COVID, then you are able to go about, travel, and you do not have to quarantine.
Yeah, we actually took this test when we came back from the US in September. All you do is take kind of take the Q-tip swab, swab both, and then you're good to go. Stuff it in a bag.
Now you have Q-tip.
Oh, God.
You're good, you're good.
Okay,
you're good.
okay. It actually doesn't hurt as much as people think.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
So one thing to note is if you are traveling from the UK, Australia, South Africa, or the European Union, you still need that negative PCR test, but in addition, you will need to take a rapid test at the airport at your own expense. For travelers heading to the Galapagos Islands and coming through Ecuador, so connecting maybe through Quito or Guayaquil, so for any residents or non-residents, you need to present a negative COVID PCR test taken within 96 hours of your arrival to the islands. So this could be the same test you used to get into Ecuador, but you have to make sure that it was taken within 96 hours in order to get onto the islands.
I so hope one day we get to go to the Galapagos. Since we're here in Ecuador, I feel like we have to.
Yeah, I think it's been on our bucket list, definitely a dream, so I think maybe this year, maybe I'll surprise you with the excursion out there.
My birthday. Just as a reminder for the PCR test that you need to have the PCR test, not the quick or rapid test or the IgG or IgM test. And then in regards to your test results, it will be okay maybe to have a digital copy, but we do recommend bringing a paper copy as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard from people who have gotten through with digital copies, others who have had problems. So as with many things in customs, it depends on who you get that day and what kind of mood they're in. So it's best to just have both. So upon your arrival, you do not provide proof of a negative COVID PCR test. You will have to take a rapid test at the airport, and this will be at your own expense. If this test comes back positive, then you will be required to quarantine for 10 days. If you are a resident of Ecuador, you can do that quarantine at the address indicated on your entry form. If you are a non-resident, you have to quarantine at an approved accommodation designated by the Ministry of Tourism. If the rapid test comes back negative, you still have to quarantine for 5 days. So just something to keep in mind when you travel.
So these are the current requirements. However, they are always subject to change. So we will provide a link to the U.S. Embassy's site in the description below, so you can always verify the current, most up-to-date information.
Okay, so let's get into in-country regulations. Masks and social distancing are required in all public areas. Large public spaces like shopping centers, banks, and grocery stores. They do temperature checks. They have hand sanitizer. Sometimes they have this spray.
Yeah, and it's a little extra peace of mind, you know, just it's an extra precautionary that people are taking.
Even taxis, they have like big plexiglass between us, so it's a nice little peace of mind there. And the beaches are now open, which is awesome. Woo! Yeah, party! Okay, and also other tourist areas like Chimborazo, Quilotoa, and what else? Las Cajas. Right, those are open for tourists. But it is important that you check that out before heading there because they are subject to change.
Yep. Currently, there are no restrictions on air travel. Flights are all operational both in and out of the country. And buses and vehicles are operating normally throughout the country too. During times of the health emergency, there were driving restrictions. However, those they've been lifted. Land and sea borders also remain closed at this time for foreign travelers.
Tourists may still enter on a 90-day visa. If your visa expired during the health emergency, you can renew without a penalty up to 30 days after the health emergency is ended. And in December, it was just extended until March 14th of this year.
Public events here still remain suspended, and restaurants, bars, and stores have a capacity limit imposed. And for school here, it remains virtual, and there is yet to be a date determined when the students will return to the classroom. But we are counting down the days, crossing our fingers, our toes, that
Please be soon.
can return to school. What is the COVID reality here in Ecuador? From a health standpoint, there has been an increase in COVID cases, and we've yet to see the full impact since the holidays. The ICU beds are full or near capacity. In regards to the vaccine, a limited quantity has arrived here in January, and that is for first-line responders. There's a bigger supply that is coming in March.
Yeah, and then mass distribution, I think, is projected for like September, October for the general public, but we shall see about that timeline.
Yeah.
The local economy has definitely been hit hard by the pandemic. We've seen plenty of business closures, minimal tourism, and lack of work opportunities for a lot of the people here in Ecuador. And Ecuador especially, many of the cities and towns rely heavily on tourism. So the artisan industry, hospitality industry has been especially hurt during this time.
Ecuador does not provide much to its citizens in terms of government assistance, like a stimulus payment or unemployment benefits. So it really relies heavily on the community to help out in these times.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen a lot of communities rallying around each other to help those who need it most. Plenty of acts of volunteerism, both from locals and foreigners. So that's been really nice to see during these hard times for people. So in terms of our daily life, how things have changed since the pandemic, we're actually very fortunate in that we haven't been affected too bad by COVID, the pandemic. We're very healthy, we've had no health issues, and we are close to conveniences like shopping centers and stores and things like that, so it's pretty easy to get back and forth. We work from home, so that's also a nice benefit of our situation. And recently, a lot of the restrictions have been lifted, so our life has been returning to somewhat of a sense of normalcy lately.
We were able to take a trip back to the States in September, so it was really nice to be able to spend time with family, especially now the state that the United States is in. I'm glad we went when we did.
Yeah, they're getting pretty hit hard by the virus, and it's a real blessing looking back on that time now because we debated going, and we're really happy that we did.
Yeah. So for precautions, we're still taking the same standard measures here of wearing a mask when we go out, washing our hands, using hand sanitizer, and social distancing.
Yeah, and we mentioned we travel a lot more by taxi. That's kind of a more preventative measure as well instead of taking the buses. Customary greeting here, which is like a kiss.
Yeah, on the cheek. Oh, it's only on one side.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. So Paraguay is the two cheeks. So here it's just the one, which is a really nice gesture. It's kind of very like,
Yeah, warm greeting.
Warm greeting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been replaced with like the
Yeah, the elbow or the fist
little
bump.
fist, or just kind of like the hello. But I hope that does come back. 'Cause that was kind of a nice cultural thing here. So we also have a lot of more produce vendors coming through our neighborhood, selling fruits, vegetables.
Yeah, even the ice cream man that Leo loves.
Yeah, we hear that ice cream song. Well, here it is. Kids go running or they ask for money. Try to limit that so they don't
Eat
eat
it
too
every
unhealthy.
day. Yeah, every day they want it.
And visiting with friends, we've tried to see friends a bit more often now. We got together with some over the holidays. We've had some play dates, so that's been nice to kind of have that contact again, interaction.
So our work schedule routine has returned to normal, so that's been really nice. For a while we were without our nanny for, I don't know, the first 3 months. So
Yeah, that's tough because she really helps us out a
Oh, yeah.
lot and allows us time to do our work, to do these videos, stuff like that. So we're getting back into the groove, which is
Yeah.
nice.
So hopefully this has provided you some clarity on the situation here in Ecuador. So if you have any questions, please leave us a comment, or if you have any information you'd like to provide for other travelers, drop us a line.
Yeah, please share that. So thank you for tuning in to this first segment of Real Talk. If you found it helpful, please give us a like and subscribe. We'll be on the road next week, heading to a really cool spot.
Oh, where are we
So,
going?
It's a surprise.
Oh,
Think you'll like
exciting.
it. Galapagos. All right, till next time.
All right.
Adios.
Ciao.
Ciao.